buy or rent, Honorable Speaker. The issue of the 10% deposit, again proposed as a bill, is one of the things that we propose to delete tomorrow during the committee of the whole House, because we listened to Kenyans and they said that 10% proposed deposit is too punitive and might not be affordable to the majority of hustlers that want to get involved in this program, Honorable Speaker. Lastly, there was a fear that these houses will be taken by the rich at the expense of the people that should benefit from this affordable housing. And therefore, we'll also be proposing to have one ID, one KRA, PIN, one house, so that we do not have people taking advantage of this particular program and going to invest in them at the expense of the hustlers that are benefiting from this program, Honorable Speaker. We have also clearly defined what an affordable house, and most importantly, Honorable Speaker, one of the things that came out of the public hearings is a need for institutional housing. We have a majority of the civil servants who are majority of the contributors to this kitty, like the police, like the teachers, like KDF, like lecturers, like even student accommodation, that now we are proposing to include an additional amendment to have affordable housing, including institutional housing, so that our students, for example, Honorable Speaker, the Technical University of Nairobi has a population of almost 20,000 students, but the number of hostels they have as an institution is less than 500. And this means that we have had mushrooming of slums around universities. If you go to Kenyatta University, the students there live in KM. If you go to the University of Nairobi, there is a slum around all our institutions of higher learning. And therefore, the bill will propose to have a particular provision and a particular percentage going to institutional housing, especially targeting our civil servants, our teachers, our police officers, and most importantly, our students, so that the students can live near where they go to school and they can have a conducive place to learn and to acquire knowledge without having to go through slums, to be marked at night when going home, and the risk of them being, their hostels being, their rental houses being locked, and them even staying out of school, Honorable Speaker. With those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support this bill, and again, tomorrow during the committee of the whole, the joint committees will be proposing an array of amendments to safeguard some of the things that our members, especially from the minority side, has raised. I beg to move, Honorable Speaker.
Order, honorable members. Order. Order, honorable members. I now put the question pursuant to the point of order raised by Honorable Chepkonga, that the mover be now called upon to reply. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? No. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me in reply to first thank all the members who have contributed. Honorable Speaker, last Thursday when this debate began, just to dissuade that fear by the Honorable Tiende Amolo that this bill is being rushed, we were here up to 7 p.m. and very many members contributed. And I sat here pensively listening to all the contributions by the members. Honorable Speaker, I remember the Honorable Engineer Mwengi, who was asking, how will a person earning 20,000 shillings afford to save to buy a house of 2.5 million shillings? Honorable Speaker, the straight answer is in the bill. I'm certain the Honorable Engineer may not have read the bill. And at clause 2 of the bill on social housing, the bill is quite explicit that the social housing units will be houses for people, targeting people whose monthly income is below 20,000 shillings. The same questions I had the leader of minority asking, how will Mama Mboga, how will a boda rider afford to buy a house? It is these people who are being targeted with the social housing. The Honorable Tiende Omolo, who has just contributed this afternoon, is asking the same pertinent questions. Is this bill about affordable housing, ownership of housing, or is it about affordable rentals? And the straight answer again, it is about affordable ownership of houses. New home owners, millions of new home owners will be created out of this bill, Honorable Speaker, and not just rentals. And I know, Honorable Speaker, those who have been opposing this bill, a number of them are those who have vested interests in rental units in this country who fear that affordable ownership of houses by Kenyans might in a way jeopardize their rental units. But I want to assure even landlords like myself, and Honorable Speaker, I am a landlord myself, just like many of us here, including the Honorable Junet. We are not threatened in any way by this bill. The housing gap in this country is so huge, Honorable Speaker, that we do not need to fear that anybody will be threatened.
Okello, what is out of order?
I thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Majority Leader understands that all of us here in this House know how to read. And Honorable Speaker, firstly, it says the Affordable Housing Bill 2023. And if we go to
what is out of order?
The heading. Honorable Speaker, I want this clear. If we go to the heading, it talks about a framework for access to affordable housing. There is no indication of ownership here, Honorable Speaker. And that is the confusion that we are going through. Are we talking about affordable rentals, which could as well be part of this, or affordable ownership of a house? Honorable Speaker, ownership is not here.
Order, Honorable
unless we are going to make more amendments.
Order, Honorable Okello, you are debating. You are not raising a point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You know, Honorable Speaker, reading English and interpretation of what is written in English are two different things. Honorable Speaker, moving on, the Honorable Oudo, in his submission, again was asking how will Chang'a brewers, or rather he asked that many of his, many constituents who are Chang'a brewers, and posed the question that what mechanism will be there to collect this money, and I think it's the same question that the Honorable Opio and I was asking, what mechanism will be there to collect this money as directed by the court. And Honorable Speaker, it is indeed true, as the Honorable Tiende Omolo has submitted, that it is the courts that said we are not levying this tax to a certain section of Kenyans. And therefore, in curing that problem that the court pointed out, then a provision was created for us to use the Tax Procedures Act, as has been clearly stipulated by the chair of the Finance Committee, to collect from every Kenyan who is earning an income. And Honorable Speaker, whether you are a farmer, whether you are a Chang'a brewer, and maybe to Honorable Oudo, it is brewers, not Chang'a brewers, because Chang'a brewing is an illegitimate trade that I don't know whether there's a way of collecting taxes from a legitimate trade. But for any person who is involved in legitimate earning of an income, they shall be obligated to pay this under the Tax Procedures Act. And Honorable Speaker, there are fears that, like the Honorable John Buddy has said, that KRA will harass people. KRA is a tax collector, not an agent for harassing Kenyans. And they will collect the taxes that are due from Kenyans in the manner provided for in law. Finally, Honorable Speaker, and I think is also an issue that you addressed when I think Honorable Junet or somebody else objected to the beginning of the debate on the question that appears on the memorandum of objects and reasons for this bill. Honorable Speaker, you put it so well that the memorandum is a storyline, describing what the proposer of the bill thinks of his bill. And at the point we formulated this bill as a proposer, it was my thinking that it will not affect county governments because it was a money bill that was designed to collect taxes, Honorable Speaker. But I have since been informed and guided even by the Speaker when the two speakers consulted and agreed that this bill does concern counties. Honorable Speaker, I am certain if and when this House dispenses with this bill, it will certainly be on its way to the Senate, and I have been in consultations with the leader of majority in the Senate. They are indeed waiting for this bill in the Senate.
Order, majority. Yes, Honorable Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, the majority leader raises a very interesting issue, which we need to investigate as a House on how bills are done and are published. Mr. Speaker, if a bill is styled to be a bill not concerning counties, and thereafter the proposer discovers that indeed it concerns counties, should this bill be printed afresh and published? Should it be debated in the manner in which it appears to be? This raises a legitimate...
Order,
Mr. Speaker, if...
Order, I'll cut you there. The matter you are raising was actually raised here by your leader, the minority leader, and he prosecuted it very effectively, and the chair ruled on it. One, that the Speaker of the House and the Speaker of the Senate are satisfied and concur that this is a bill concerning counties. Two, that whatever is in the memorandum is something that will not find itself in the body of the law when you pass it. Three, that at committee stage you can amend anything, including the memorandum, to expunge any offending words that tend to indicate either impliedly or expressly that the bill does not concern counties, because it does. And it was all agreed by both sides that this bill concerns counties, and from here it will go to the Senate. So if you had been here when Wandai was contributing, you wouldn't have raised that point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was hoping, Honorable Speaker, you would tell the Honorable TJ, give him the same response you gave to the Honorable Nyikal, that he's also suffering from being absent from the House.
Yes.
Because that is a matter that was indeed canvassed, and you made a very reasoned ruling on the matter. And indeed, as I was indicating in conclusion, Honorable Speaker, this memorandum, as the Speaker directed, if anybody desires to amend the memorandum or my storyline of what the bill is about, you are at liberty to amend it when this bill comes for third reading. With those very many remarks, Honorable Speaker, allow me, Honorable Speaker, maybe, Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, Article 38, or sorry, Clause 38, Honorable Speaker, and the Honorable Engineer Mwengi also spoke to the issue of the contributions, voluntary savings. And to an extent, he confused the voluntary savings to voluntary contributions into the fund. And the voluntary savings referred to under Clause 38 refer to savings towards contributing a deposit. And is a deposit that the Honorable Chair of the Finance Committee has very ably stated that the provision that was there for a 10% deposit, and I remember when the units in Nakuru County were in Bondeni, Nakuru, were advertised, Kenyans raised that particular question as to whether how many Kenyans will be able to afford 100,000 shillings, and that is what the chairman of the Finance Committee has indicated that they have proposed in their committee report during third reading to remove the provision for a 10% deposit, so that Kenyans, even what we do, Honorable Speaker, when you are getting into a rental house, you are required to raise a deposit of 2 months deposit and one month rent, or 1 month's deposit and 2 months rent, and you pay an equivalent of your 3 months deposit as your deposit, is probably something now with the removal of the 10% deposit that could be considered by the people who will be selling these houses under the fund. Honorable Speaker, with those very many remarks, let me conclude by saying that this bill is not just about a levy. This bill is not just about houses. As I submitted when moving, this bill is about provision of jobs for millions of our youth who are languishing back in our constituencies without jobs, and plead with all of you to vote for this bill. And voting for this bill, honorable members, you'll be voting for jobs. I will wait to see, Honorable Speaker, how many of us here will vote against jobs for Kenyans, jobs for Kenyans, jobs for your constituencies. This bill is nothing other than about jobs, 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 jobs for your constituencies. Vote for jobs. Vote for employment. Vote for homeowners. Vote for wealth creation. Vote for a new Kenya. I submit and I reply, Honorable Speaker.
Order. Order. Honorable members on both sides of the House, you are totally out of order for turning the floor of the House into a rally situation. Honorable members, I'll now put the question, which is that the Affordable Housing Bill, National Assembly Bill number 75 of 2023, be now read a second time. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. Take your seats. Take your seats, honorable members. Order. You have order, honorable members. Take your seats. You have the requisite number. Order. Order, honorable members. You have claimed a division. You have the requisite number. Before we ring the bell, allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's gallery, order, the presence of Solian Girls High School from Eldama Ravine in Baringo. We can now ring the division bell for 5 minutes. We are on division, we can't. Order, honorable members. The division bell will be rung for 5 minutes.
The division bell is currently on at the National Assembly. This division bell has been ordered by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Moses Wetangula, for the House to take account of members in support of the Affordable Housing Bill 2023, currently at the second stage. On your screens, you can see the whip of the majority side, whipping members in the chamber. In the next about 3 minutes, we are set to see members of the National Assembly from various sides, that is those opposing and those in support of the bill, currently at the second stage, take the numbers owing to that vote that was just taken just a while ago by
Order, honorable members, take your seats. Take your seats. Those members on their feet, take your seats. Take your seats. Order, honorable members. Those on your feet, freeze. Those near their seats, get seated. Honorable members, the division bell is over. I will now invite the whips to submit the names of their tellers. Order. Order. We do. Joroge? Close the bar. Honorable members, order. Order, honorable members. Take your seats. Take your seats. Honorable members, I want you to observe decorum and decent conduct in the House. Your standing orders stipulate very clearly when voting is going on, you observe silence in the chamber, no movement from one place to another. I would have loved us to have electronic voting, but I'm told some of you don't have your cards. I want to advise members that going to the future, it saves a lot of our time if we do electronic voting. And for my time in 10 years in the Senate, all our voting was electronic and it was seamless. And when you vote even electronically, it appears on the screen and everybody can tell who is voting in whatever manner. So going to the future, clerk, make sure that the electronic gadgets are working. This vote would have taken 5 minutes. Now we are probably going to take 1 hour. And I want to direct that if the chair notices you walking up and down during voting, your vote will be nullified. Maintain silence, remain in your places of seat, so that we have an orderly house. You know very well before this we have had votes that have degenerated into something I don't want to describe. If I see you walking around, it matters not who you are, even if you are in leadership, I'll nullify your vote. So let's start through a roll call vote. Remain where you are. When you are called out, vote. And for avoidance of doubt, I'll now put the question.